continue to fail?
Oh, well, yeah, it's because it's mathematically impossible for them to succeed. And Gus mentioned this, he mentioned the attack surface, right? So if you count all the vulnerabilities, right? And when I say a vulnerability, right, you're talking about human vulnerabilities, people that can be socially engineered, that type of thing. You're talking about, unsecure coding, bad coding practices like Anand talked about. You're talking about all the potential network issues and so forth. So you take all of those vulnerabilities and then you multiply them by the possible vectors, right? And what I mean is take a human vector. So I'm a human vector, a way to get to it, and I have multiple devices, right, that I could be socially engineered to maybe give up my credentials for or something like that. So you take all the vulnerabilities and you take all the vectors and you multiply those and you get the possible number of cybersecurity failures, right? This sort of theoretical number. And then you take all the possible defenses for that. And then you start subtracting, right? You start saying, well, we can't cover all those particular type of vulnerabilities in a network, a hardware, or device, or we don't, as Gus said, we don't have enough people to be able to implement these measures. I mean, if you start doing the simple math, I mean, you did this as a word problem in your head, right? The number of the total cyber attack potential is always going to greatly exceed the total cyber attack defense potential. And then you factor in the asymmetry of the warfare. If you're a cyber defender trying to do defense in depth, and you successfully defeat 1 million attacks, but you don't defeat one. In other words, the score is 1,000,000 to 1. Did you lose? Yeah, you lost, right? So it's mathematically impossible for a defense in depth strategy to succeed. And again, mirroring Gus, it doesn't mean that we don't have to do with these things. It means that on its own, it's not possible. So going back to the safety thing, the safety mindset it's not a security mindset. Security mindset says, how do we defend against all these attacks? It focuses on the bad guys. A safety approach looks at the data as hazardous, right? Because if it gets out in the wild, it gets stolen, it can cause harm, so it's hazardous. So it doesn't say, how do we protect the data? It asks the question, why is data stealable? Why can it be stolen? What is it about the nature of data that causes it to be an uncontrolled hazard? So that's the basic difference between a safety look at the problem and a security look at the problem.